welcome back to another episode of Concrete Slab renovation. So we did the flooring, it's all demoed out. The smartest thing next to do is painting because you don't have to mask off the nice pretty floors. So that being the case, we got a few samples that we did on the wall here. You want to do that just to make sure that different kinds of lighting of your house, you'll know exactly what it looks like. You don't want to get color that's way too dark gray, but it looks really light gray in a very well lit room. Now, all we got to do right now is mask things off. That's usually the boring part of painting, but prep work is key. Let's get started. Okay, so let's tape off some windows. The gun is so important. Don't skip out on a nice masking gun here. So get it right on that little edge. Fold this sucker down. Hitch your little vinyl trim and then just bring this over and secure it. And then we do the same on this side. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Love taping. So Tyler brings to my attention that there's a 72-inch paper and I'm using 48-inch paper. So here's what I was showing. This is the cheap, my first masking gun that I've had. It's weird that they sell it that you can have it shorter and extend the version. The problem that's always happening with it is this kind of gets derailed from the paper itself, versus with this gun here, it's got a little pressure that's going down here, constantly keeping it in line, staying in place. The cutters are good. Honestly, one of my favorite parts is the fact that you actually put it in your pocket like that. That's all Tyler, man. He brought me to the light. It's paint day. The product we're going for is Benjamin Moore Regal Select. The color is, thanks to Irina, she found a beautiful, it's called Simply White. It's in an eggshell sheen, so it'll give you enough protection and enough character to do exactly what we want her to do. We got our paint, we got our sprayer, everything's masked off. Only thing's left is some good music. If you guys have never sprayed before, I'm using just an airless sprayer. I'm keeping a distance of roughly around like 14 inches away, and I'm overlapping each fan by 50%. So if one pattern is this big, I'm gonna overlap it by another half, and it'll give me the best chances of being consistent. You're seeing me use like a shield, this cardboard, really cheap. You get a whole bundle of them if you want. Because we popped off the trim, when it comes to protecting the doors, because we'll paint them later, you can just simply hold it against it and give it a nice quick fan. Also, how stylish is this, huh? It'll save your beard. I am a third of the way down with the house. I have another 2/3 to go. I've used about 18 gallons. I've only used 7 of them. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough paint. We might have to do another run to the store here pretty soon. 3,000 square foot home. Without counting doors and trim, how much paint do you think I'm gonna need, right? More than 25 gallons or less? Give me your best guess and description below. I'm curious. I used to buy inexpensive or the cheaper version of the paints, and the problem was every time you'd have to give like 2 to 3 coats in order to actually get a good fill. I'm doing single coat at a time. That's all I'm doing, and it's curing perfectly. 65 bucks a gallon, but that's for really nice quality paint. And biggest lesson in life, you get what you pay for. Get yourself good paint and you'll get the job done so much quicker. Okay, next day, guys. This is the next day. Look how beautifully this paint cured. The Regal Select Benjamin Moore Simply White. I mean, look at this. It blended in really well. I was a little nervous because when I was spraying it, when you spray, you see little, fan streaks, but then it just levels it all out perfectly. Now, there are a few sections. I want to show you some. Come here. I know people are going to ask me, do you need a back roll or not? There's a few parts that we had to back roll, and what back rolling does is kind of even out the paint. And that's strictly based off of how you're spraying it. I don't know if you can see on camera here, but there's a few little light spots there. What Tyler's doing it basically is giving it another once over. Once you spray it, if you have somebody following behind you back rolling it, it levels out the paint so much easier, so you don't have to do this the next day. Overall, 28 gallons of paint was used on just walls. 3,000 square feet home. I have big, tall, 16-foot tall ceilings there. Spent roughly around $2 grand in paint for that. Tyler, you've had a paint contracting business before. What would you say a customer would be charged to get this house painted?
3,000 square feet, I would say $2 to $3 a square foot. Put you at right 6 to 8, 6 to 9.
This would be like on the higher side because they're tall ceilings.
Oh, super tall ceilings.
They're not your average 8-foot.
No,
oh yeah.
On tall ladders.
Yeah. Spend the money on the nice paint. Do not buy cheap paint. Cheap paint, you'll do layer after layer, and not to mention, who knows how it's gonna last. Beautifully done. Regal Select, huge fan of it. Folks, trim day, picked up a few supplies. The first things we're gonna do is make sure this area is prepped. To do that, I use my scraper. I can't tell you how many things I've fixed with the scraper. So we're gonna take these brad nails that's there from the previous trim work, and we're just gonna pull them out like that as I throw these nails at camera guy Kyle. So, no hazard pay. Is it weird that I'm letting other make these price off?
It's cool, bro.
The header here, this overlaps by 1 inch on both sides. It's like your classic dimension. This only overlaps by 1/2 inch, and then it goes back to 1 inch again. And Tyler had a brilliant idea that if we add it to the bottom here as well, it makes the window look so much more, what's the word we kept doing in the house tour? Grand. More grand. Let's use it again.
So we're using actually a floor sample here to get our spacing so we can actually start doing these uprights. We did tape a little piece of cardboard to the back, and the reason being we're gonna put some sort of underlayment like some foam or some plastic underneath, and we really just wanted to make sure we got this as close to the finished floor height as possible.
All right, so the trim is 1/2 inch. I used to go with 3/4 inch, but I found that my kids end up standing on them and getting them dirty. And so I decided to go a little something more narrow, make it a little bit more difficult for them to climb on. It's MDF, it's primed or primered. It's 5 inches tall, 1/2 inch wide. It's going in nice and smooth, going right into the studs. Also, you might be wondering, oh, the floors came in? Yes, scheduling, floors are super late. We had to get momentum, but you'll see that video coming out. It's a really cool floor. Okay, now imagine you have a wall that is longer than 16 feet, and you're like, well, what's the point? Well, the baseboards come at 16 feet. Find the middle part that would be concealed based off the furniture that'll be there. Bedroom is a prime example because the bed will be right in the middle. Go down the middle, and instead of having two boards connect side by side as a butt joint, do 45 degrees on each one and have them interlock like a puzzle piece. It's so much easier to put some glue in there and actually have a little bit of strength. This little 45 jig here. So what it is, it's a 22.5 and a 22.5 angle. 22 plus 22.5 is 45. So I'm gonna go off the back wall here, and you measure either the inside or the outside of the angle, so just pick one. I'm gonna measure on the outside because it's a little bit easier on the saw. So 26 3/4. At that point, I'm gonna create my 22.5 degree angle, then a 1 inch distance from the outside, 22.5 by 22.5, and then whatever comes here. So that's just one way of doing it. I know there's maybe other finish carpentry skills, tips. This is the way I personally figured out, and it works fine. Okay, so we have our 22.5 angle there, based off of our little jig here. Place it on, make sure it lines up. Make a marking where this next inner angle starts. So the inner angle measurement will be from this piece, 7 5/8. Okay, so we got those lined up here. Then we just measure the inside of this, so 1 1/8. All right, everything lines up, so I'm gonna take some wood glue. All right, and there we have it. For a non-formal finish carpentry training, I think it works just fine for my house.
We have all of these little nail holes to fill. So I'm just using some wood filler here. Sometimes I use the putty knife. Most of the time I actually use my finger. Just whatever's quickest. Coming around, just pushing it into the nail hole and just kind of smoothing it off. I am gonna come back around with sandpaper and just smooth everything back out. Just works too good if you have everything. No, yes it does.
That's not, no, I looked it up, it's not true.
It is true.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay, well,
Okay?
okay. Now we're doing the baseboards because floors finally showed up. The baseboards, we're doing the Advance from Benjamin Moore. This is trim and door paint. Really tough. So, I got a 5-gallon bucket. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can cover the entire 3,000 square foot home. This is the key. If you want a nice crisp line between your drywall that's already painted and your newly painted trim, is take a paintable clear caulk. And the day of painting, put a line, clear it with your finger, press it down in there, and then spray it. And before it dries, usually 30 minutes or so, before then, pull it off. That way you have a nice crisp line. If you wait and let the paint dry, you're gonna start seeing all of that paint being peeled off. So don't do that. So time is a virtue. Let's get going. The color is Benjamin Moore Chantley lace. Chantley lace in a satin sheen. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but here it is on the bucket. And I think so far it's applying perfectly. Okay, so I'm sure I'm sure some of you are saying, I can't believe you're not masking off the door handles. Relax, Mrs. M, Irina, said we have to get black hardware, so I don't really care about not masking them. It's more work for me. I'm gonna finish up, do the whole house. You guys enjoy the succulent time lapse. See ya. Okay, quick update. It's been 3 days. Finally got a bulk done of trim. I still got the living room to do and the family room. As you can see, we're already started unpacking just because
we couldn't wait any longer.
I couldn't be at the mother-in-law's that long. 5 kids or 5 people sleeping in one room. I need a good night.
Not a good stitch.
What do you think of the color scheme that kind of turned out?
I love it. That's kind of what we were going for. We wanted a subtle difference between the baseboards and the walls. We went with Simply White by Benjamin Moore on the walls.
Satin finish. Or no, eggshell finish. Eggshell finish.
Eggshell finish. I love the color. It's not too bright white, and so it's a little bit, it's just really neutral and pretty. The baseboards and trim, we went with Chantilly lace.
That's how you pronounce it, Chantilly lace.
Yeah.
We couldn't figure out, how do you say this? Chantilly lace. Cool.
And that one is in a satin finish, right?
That is in a satin finish, correct.
And I love, the contrast, because it's just so subtle, but it's not all one color.
Yeah, no, it came out awesome, and I couldn't be happier with how it all turned out. And the paint feels durable already. Like when I was painting the doors, like they're not like I tried putting my nail through it, and it felt great. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you guys an update as time goes on, see how everything holds up when the kids are challenging it. All right, let's talk about price breakdowns. For walls, I needed 25 total gallons to cover all of these tall walls, which cost me $1,677.72. And here's a pro tip, buying 5 gallons might save you even more. Now for the trim and doors, I only needed 5 gallons, which roughly costed me about $250. Altogether, total breakdown was $1,927.73. And if you want to tack on an extra $300 for a paint sprayer, you get this whole entire house done for under $2,500. Well, as you can see, this is the reality that I'm living in. You saw the nice, pretty Instagram picture in our bedroom of everything finished, and I still have about 2 rooms to finish here. I can't bust it all out in the next couple of days because we gotta get all settled in, but it's definitely going on my honey-do list, and I'm sure I'll finish it in no time. Hey, well, thanks so much for sticking around and watching episode 4 of the Concrete Slab House Reno series. If you're brand new to the channel and you like videos like this or any kind of home improvement project stuff, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Very important. That way you'll know exactly when we put out a brand new video of part of this Concrete Slab House Reno series. Check me out on my social media. All the links will be down in the description below, as well as the merch section, all that stuff that helps support this channel. We got plenty of things to do. As you can see, I gotta change some hardware out here. Make sure you stick around for episode 5 coming out here in the week, where I share all the secrets and the details on this flooring. So this week, we'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.